I sometimes do some preaching. I do quite a bit. I like to move around, so I never feel like I'm stuck. So one of the things that I'm excited to share with you guys about is the newest development here. As you all know, it's known as the Flato School. Our great mayor is going to stand up and sing the fight song for us. Maybe after, if we pay him enough money, he'll do it. The old home of the Bulldogs. One of the things that I'm grateful to have this opportunity to do with my family is to restore a desolate wasteland. And this is my daughter, Michaela, and because I'm not super tech savvy, she's going to show me how to advance. Oh, wow, awesome. I love it. This is so cool. Okay, good. Thank you, darling. So, I am, as my introduction had included, I am from upstate New York. Please don't hold that against me. Upstate New York is actually the really beautiful part, and it's not New York City. We've been down here, my wife and I, we have 5 children. We've been down here since 2011, so this year will be 13 years that we made South Texas our home. We do live in Corpus Christi, and we just moved to Texas. We were ready to get out of New York. How many people here are from New York? I love that. Okay, great. Us New Yorkers, we like space from other New Yorkers, so that's why I moved to Texas. But yeah, so I am from upstate New York. My father was a builder. My mother was a registered nurse that owned and operated a business, multiple companies actually, for my whole life. Her last greatest feat was that she started an independent school because the nursing where she nursed and she took care of these little kids, in her retirement she took care of children as a school nurse. That was how she decided she wanted to spend out her last part of her career. Those schools were being shut down. They were part of the Catholic diocese and they were being shut down. And my mother said, in the face of the teachers that came in who were crying in the nurse's office, because when you don't feel good, where do you go? You go to the nurse's office. And so they're all surrounding around my mother and they were saying, you know, we're so sad that we're going to be losing the school we love. And she said, don't you worry, we're going to start our own school. My mother had never started a school. She had no experience starting a school, but that's just who my mom was. And so they did successfully 15, 16, 17 years ago. They started a school, and still today it's going strong. My mother's passed 4 years ago, but it's still going strong now. One of my oldest sisters has taken over that school and is running it for the community because the community had a need, which is what kind of brings me to Kingsville. Kingsville has a need, right? And I think many people think that Kingsville really is past the point of having development, and really it's just an old town, it's eventually going to die. But that's not true, because we're living here, you're living here, you're invested here. And when people feel like they're invested in a place, they actually will take ownership and realize that they can't wait for some outside, the government or some outside group to come in and somehow just make something happen. That all starts with you. You are that change. It's one of the things I love about business. Excuse me. It's one of the things I love about business. It's one of the things that I love about being an entrepreneur. I am a third-generation entrepreneur, and so business is in my blood. My father was a builder. He was in the trades. I grew up around the trades, and I realized that I, too, wanted to be a business owner. And not only just take over somebody's business, but I wanted to start something from ground up. Today, I own and operate 4 different service-based businesses, and we operate out of Corpus Christi. One of them is a remodeling company, which hence why I've been remodeling for 25 years, since I was a young teenager, hence why I loved the Flato School. As soon as we were invited here from the city of Center for Economic Development and the Chamber of Commerce, Manny, I'm not sure if Manny's here today or not, but Manny came out, he visited the project that my family and I built in London Square, the London Square Plaza. Anybody here have seen the London Square Plaza? Has anybody stopped there at the London Square Plaza? Good, I need you all to stop there. We built this knowing that people who live in Kingsville will drive past. And so I sold that idea to all the business owners who put up their signs saying, don't worry, people from Kingsville will stop. So please stop in, check out the Coffee Waves, check out the restaurant. The food actually is good food. We handpicked all of those businesses because London had a huge need. What was its need? Anybody know what its need was? You have thousands of houses being built with no businesses out there. Nothing. You can't get milk for 5 miles. You can't get fuel for 5 miles. You can't get a doctor for probably 8 miles. So my family and I saw that and we said, man, we've got to solve this problem. But why us? Why would we be the ones that would solve that problem? Who are we? We just have a remodeling company, we have a building supply company. Sure, we can build things, but why should we be the ones who bring that change?
Because nobody else would.
There you go. I love that. Because nobody else would. We own the land, we own the corner, we own that whole strip there, but we bought it over time by faith. My wife said, why are you buying that? I said, I believe we're supposed to have it. She goes, it's a lot of money. I said, I know. Some late night discussions, but in the end, we said, look, let's put our money in, let's buy it. We officed out of it for a while, and as we were there, I said, let's make it into a little coffee shop, let's make a little ice cream shop, let's do it like a playground in the back, let's do something that it'll bring the community together. And I say all that because we talk about vision, right? In business, this is a business meeting, right? That's what we're here to talk about is business and how does it affect people, but really it's more so how do people use business to affect the community, right? And I think that's the key thing is that we're here to serve one another. That's what businesses are all about, services, right? You're either a service business or you're a product business. And so when we saw a need the community had, nobody else was going to do it, and we owned the land and we had the ability, we had to get the investment of the city, the community, to buy into that, right? So when I tore down that building, I tore it down. I don't know if anybody remember when I tore the building down. Does anybody remember when I tore the building down? It was there one day and was gone the next. You remember that? The red brick building on the corner? Beautiful lot, tennis court. Thing was beautiful. And I'm like, why am I tearing this thing down? Because I wanted to build something bigger. I was going to build that little tiny shop for me and for my family, and so we could offer a little something to the community. And my wife and I, we just had our 5th baby. Yes, we have 5 children. My oldest is here, that's Michaela. We have 4 girls and 1 little boy who happens to be 5. And Michaela's 21. So that's a big gap. But my wife and I have 4 girls and 1 boy. And I tell all of my friends that I'm not a quitter. And it took me 17 years to have my son, but I'm not a quitter. So thankfully my wife isn't either. But again, why are we doing this? We decided that in a late night discussion or argument or fight or just we're Italian as well, so we really get into our discussions and very passionate. And my wife said to me, she goes, do you want me to care for your son and raise him, or do you want me to run a restaurant? How many people here, how would you answer that question? Both. Come on, both, right? So my mother would do both. My mother did do both, right? And I said, well, I want you to raise my boy, but I really want this restaurant. I really want to do something here. I feel it's so important. And Megan told me, well, then tear the building down and build something bigger. And I said, oh my goodness, are you kidding me? This is a $400,000 building, just tear it down? And I did. I said, okay. I said, we came up with a plan to build the plaza that invited 10 other business owners to come in, had to sell them the vision, had to get them to understand why it was so important to be the first one in this town. And it's a new little town. London's a new little town. And I say that because it's so important that if you don't have the buy-in, if you don't have a vision, how are you ever going to get people to follow you? And in business, you need to know where you're going. You need to know why you're doing what you're doing so you can get people to support you and rally behind you. We tore that building down. We moved out of that. We were officing there. We moved out. We tore it down. I didn't have a bank commitment. I didn't have any tenants. I had no tenants and no bank commitment for a loan to build a multi-million-dollar building. How many people here understand that to do business, it's risky? And not only is it risky, it takes faith. It takes faith, right? So my vision was that plaza which leads, don't worry, I'm going to talk about Flato School, but it's so important to understand why we're doing this. Because it takes faith. When you see a vision in front of you, you've got this big dream, and you know it's huge, and it's ahead of you. You've never done it. How are you going to get there? How are you going to do it? Are you going to wait for everything to fall in line first and then move towards it? Well, that doesn't take any faith at all. There's no risk at all. That's a home run. Everybody would do that. Everybody would be in the game. There'd be so much competition, you'd feel like, why even bother? But that's not how it is. It takes vision, it takes faith, and it takes a lot of people around you saying, I believe in you, you can do it. You can do this, right? We need cheerleaders around us, male and female, right? And so I think that's crucial. When we did that plaza, I said, look, we put the sign up, coming soon. Again, I had no financing and I had no tenants. I put a sign up. That sign sat up there for almost a year, guys, 8 months. And I said, why aren't we getting any tenants? What's going on? And I felt one day in my prayer time, that's what I heard the Lord say. Move the dirt. Move the dirt. Put a fence up. I said, oh, like get started. I said, you know what? That's what I'm going to do. I'm a crazy faith man anyway. I'm going to do it. So what did I do? I ordered a fence. I brought in the massive bulldozers. I brought in all the dirt. I started building up the pad site. How many people here in the room could imagine doing that? Spending thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of dollars to do this without a single bank commitment. The banks are telling me I'm stupid, you're crazy, we don't believe in you, we don't believe in the project, you can't do it. And as soon as they said, you can't do it, guess what happened to me? I said, that's all the motivation I needed. The fact you told me I couldn't do it. This is what gets exciting for me, right? Choose your enemies wisely. Know what motivates you is so important in business. If you guys don't have that, you won't do well in business. Find your motivating factor and use that as fuel. And once you accomplish what you're trying to accomplish, get a new motivational factor. Get a new thing to help propel you forward. Whatever it is in life, that's how we excel. I got 3 calls as soon as I saw the dirt going. And I started lining these guys up and signing up 5-year leases. 5-year leases, $24 a year rent. That's like $2 a square foot. Triple net. For commercial people understand commercial real estate, that just means that the tenants are going to help cover all the expenses of the building. It's like a Class A, perfect kind of deal out in the middle of nowhere. And we did it. And by the time we went vertical, by then I finally had a bank. They stepped in my office, and after I had 3 other banks tell me, no way, no how, we don't believe in you. After it took 3 to 4 or 5 months, each bank would string you along and give you the idea that, oh yeah, we're going to do it, and then last minute they say no. The last bank sat in my office, and he said, James, we really like this project. We're going to fund this project. And I said, that's great. I've had 3 other people tell me the same thing. I said, what's different with you? Why are you different? I was very direct and very jaded by bankers. No offense, is any bankers in the room? Good. We all love our banks, and sometimes we hate our banks. But here's the important thing. I said, what's different with you? And he says, James, I'm the guy that's going to approve it. I said, what do you mean? He goes, I'm the president of the bank. I said, oh, well, this is a different story. But it took all of those rejections. It took all of that effort. And every time you get rejected, it feels like failure, right? Every time you get rejected, it feels like failure because you present well, you got all your numbers in, you've got the vision, you've got the building plans, you've got it all put together. And by this time, I'm talking to the banks, I obviously had all the building plans, I had everything that we knew we needed, the pro formas, everything. And to get rejected, you feel like, well, shoot, I might as well quit, right? So failure, guys, this is so important. Listen to this. There's a secret. I'm going to tell you a secret, so maybe close the doors. I don't want anybody else to hear this. Failure is designed to keep you down. Failure is designed to keep you out of the game. Failure does not want you to proceed. Failure hates progress. Do you hear what I'm saying? People like me, like many people here in this room, we use failure as a stepping stone. We use failure as motivation. We use failure as a propelling force. Just like someone saying, you can't do it, it's the same thing. Well, let me show you. Let me show you I can do it. I'm going to prove to you. You're going to become my number 1 enemy. Not as like a hate thing, but as a motivation. I'm going to love this. Sports. When you're an opponent, those are not your friends. Your buddy might be on the other team, but you're going to go out to win, right? And that's how life is. So when failure comes, and people say, well, I tried it once and I failed. Okay, so what'd you do about it? Well, I'd never do that again. That was very shameful. Ooh, that was very shameful. Too bad for you. If I receive that same experience, yeah, I cry, right? I count all the money I lost. I figure out how I can regain that, what I can do to restore that situation. But failure, your last mistake is your greatest teacher. Who's heard that quote before? Right? Guys, it's real. So, especially from a business standpoint, expect to fail, and when you fail, learn every single thing you can learn from that failure, because that is what will propel you forward. Does that make sense? Hence how we have a successful plaza there. We built a second one. We built it in 5 months, fully leased out. We get a phone call from your town here saying, hey, we love what you're doing at the plaza. Come do it for us. Full circle, guys. Who am I? Who am I? Now I get called to come build plazas for communities? We had 4 other cities come to my little plaza there in the corner and said, James, we love how you brought in vision for the community with the courtyard, the stage. You're creating community. Yeah, we want our families to come together and know that they can know their neighbors. Just like the old days, that's what it used to be. Strip centers don't do that, guys, right? We pull up, we get what we need, we leave, right? You might see someone in passing, but that's it, it's in passing. We're creating places where people can come together and commune together, create memories together, right? They said, look, we love what you did. We'd love for you to build and consider doing the same thing for here. We had Beeville, we had Portland, we had Kingsville, and we had, that little town a little farther away from here. I can't remember. But I was like, I'm not going there, it's too far. So, but the great thing is that your leadership here, they see it, they have the vision. They got the vision. And I remember the first time I met with Mayor Flugate, sitting down, I said, this is what we want to do. Oh no, we know what you want to do. We love it. We want you here. And there's sites here where we think it would do very well. Hence how the Flato school got brought up. It was for sale. We were able to purchase it. And as soon as I walked through it, I could see all the things that would happen there. I could see all the families coming together. I could see all the memories being made. And then I said, okay, I got to get Megan out here. Megan can't be here today. She's actually getting ready to head up to Greece. So she's hopefully packing and on her way out in another hour or so. But she'll walk a property with me. And if I don't have Megan's buy-in, I won't do anything. I need my wife's buy-in because I need my greatest cheerleader right next to me, right? A lot of people say, oh, well, I just stay home. I'm not really, no, men, especially married men who understand, and with some women out here that actually, they might take that lead role in some respects of developing and going after big things. If we don't have your number one cheerleader in your corner, don't do it. Because then they'll become your enemy. And then you'll try to prove them. And then it'll break the marriage. Right? Right? It's so important to be united when you do big things like this. So the vision to restore the Flato School into a thriving community. Thank you so much. You can hear it. Appreciate that. Here it is. Who here in this room has been to the school? Ooh, that's a third of the room. In this courtyard here, we plan to take this little strip down here, and we're right where that, if I'm standing kind of at the background, that's where our large stage is going to go. Very large stage, open air, it'll be covered, and it's going to face back towards the building. That grass is actually going to turn into turf, and it's going to be a artificial turf striped field. So we plan to we are hoping to have, and I'm planning to have, you see how hope and planning and faith, they all go together, right? Because it's a vision. It's not done yet, right? And you have to inspire people to get behind the vision because I can't do it all. I cannot run every awesome business idea. I will try. I'll get burned out. My daughter will be like, Dad, no more businesses, please. Can't we just find someone else that wants to do this? Yes, Michaela? Yes, she's true. Yeah, she knows. So so that we have a vision that youth can come and like flag football could happen on this, a youth soccer. Not anything huge, but again, and or just recreation, just playing around, right, having fun. The kids at the London Square Plaza, the neighborhoods, like over the weekends, they just go down and they do acrobats on the turf, and they play football on the turf. And the cool thing is that we have an urgent care right there, so when they get hurt, they just walk right in. You got to plan it, right? You got to plan it. So this is looking at, that's basically standing, looking back out towards the far side of the property. This is basically the turf field that we're talking about. Okay, so here's our rendering. Keeping with what's already there, you can't tell, but because there's so much plywood on that building right now covering those old windows, but there's a lot of windows on that building. So our goal is to uncover it. We're not planning to change anything with the outside of the structure other than just replacing those windows. We're going to kick all the birds out and the vultures somehow. I know it's a state law, we can't bother vultures, but I'm going to figure out something to keep those vultures out. So there's our turf field right in the center. The coolest thing that I think, anybody here ever been to a chicken and pickle? Anybody here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. So we're modeling this similarly to that, okay? We've just picked up one of our greatest tenants, I think is going to bring the most value, is someone that is going to be running the program for the pickleball. So some people have asked, well, how do we get our gear, or what do we have to do? There'll be lessons. There's going to be lessons, there's going to be a sports shop, there's going to be a restaurant in there as well that's geared and run by the people that run the facility. The same people are also going to be helping us with our live events that we hold there. So there's going to be community nights, there's going to be a lot of things that happen here. So the goal is to bring people together. Some of our tenants that we've already have leased out on the far side, if you look all the way over, that's an urgent care. Primary care and urgent care. They've got some great prices. They do monthlies. So if people don't have health insurance, they, for a couple $100 a month, they could be basically all their visits would be covered, like their well care visits and things like that. So that's a really cool thing. In the back section, where it has like a court inside those 4 walls, that's actually going to be a restaurant, and that's the pickleball people there with the sports shop. Next to that, we have it leased out. Following to the left, that's a fitness tenant. Then we have the stage, open air. We have Coffee Waves coming in. Anybody here familiar with Coffee Waves from Corpus Christi? Good, great. This would be their 6th location. They've been wanting to come into Kingsville for the past few years. We have a very close relationship with the owner, David Bendette, and so he is stoked about Kingsville. Okay, so a lot of people have been waiting to get into Kingsville, right? And so now what we're doing is creating opportunity for them, making it easy for them to come into Kingsville. That's what this development is all about. It's about bringing in other businesses, and it makes it easy for them. So down at the bottom portion of the plans here, that's where Coffee Waves will be located with a drive-through as well. We have another side across where it says open, on the main building says open. That is for a restaurant. So we had one lined up, they backed out. But it's okay. I know that once we begin the work, we are going to fill this thing out. I already know that. The fact that we're 50% committed already by just cutting down some trees, and I am sorry that I had to cut those trees down. I know a lot of people were upset that I cut those trees down, but I had to, because otherwise we'd have no parking. But I did let the community come and take as much of that lumber as they wanted. Anybody here get some of that? Good, just one, okay, good. And there's still mulch there, everybody. Anybody want some mulch? I left it on the front. We had guys with trailers shoveling mulch. And I felt like, man, this is again, it's just being mindful of letting people have what they would like in a nice, orderly way. We have a volleyball court planned out, which will be sand. Anybody here play beach volleyball? One. Okay, all the other people in the other room who play beach volleyball, but that's also coming in. We have a paint and sip pottery coming in as well, which is great, and that's actually one of the faculty here, one of the art teachers here, I believe, that's actually opening up the shop, or some type of relationship there. So we're still holding for. We'd like a noodles place. We want a Smoothie King. That concept We're holding for kind of like an Asian flair, not Mexican. We all love Mexican food, but we don't want Mexican food there. There's a nice Mexican restaurant just 2 doors up the road. So we're trying to bring in the things that people are asking for. This is the key thing. Whenever you try to develop something, don't bring in what you think people want. Bring in what you know they want. Because once you bring in what you know they want, you've already got community commitment. How can you sell the idea and the vision to a business owner who's got to put up a couple $100,000 to do a full build out without having some type of commitment from the community, right? When we launched, when the news hit that what we were doing, I think it was it the Kingsville paper? Yeah, the Kingsville paper did an article on it, on what we were doing. And then we had Channel 3 and Channel 6 come out the same week. We made a post. I had Michaela create us the Kings Plaza page. And we posted within just the article. Within 3 weeks, we had over 60,000 people interact with the page on Facebook. 60,000 people, that's more than what's in this whole area, right? There's a lot of people who are excited about what we're doing. The number of shares, the number of hearts, that's a key indicator that people are excited, right? And so that's a big thing, and I'm thankful to be part of it. That's far more than we ever had with the London Plaza, by the way. I think it took us 12 months to get like 50,000 interactions. And the city of Corpus Christi, because we're not in the city of Corpus Christi, we're in the ETJ, we're in the county, they could care less. They're like, yeah, it's fine. So we got coverage, we got news out there, people were excited for the London area, but because it's such a pocket, like a suburb, we had nothing like what Kingsville's got. So we were just like, wow, this is pretty amazing. This is the sports shop, this is for the pickleball, the little restaurant. This is a rendering of what they're hoping the inside of their shop looks like. Their front doors will be facing the pickleball courts. The nice thing is going to have fully covered walk-around canopies. So will be some shade there as well, so I think that's great. For anybody who hasn't seen this, this is the inside of our courtyard at London Square Plaza. So we went for a kind of a modern look, something that you wouldn't normally see in Corpus. So it'd be very similar to what we try to bring to the plaza here, Kings Plaza. This is from the roof. The turf that we're planning for you guys is going to be twice as big, twice as long, twice as wide. So it's going to be, I'm going to be driving from Corpus to come out here and play with my little boy and my little girl. And there's our stage. Again, the stage is going to be twice as big. This is one of the other projects that we did that's just down County Road 33. We built that last year. Right after we built the London Plaza, we finished that one in 2022. We just celebrated our first year anniversary in November, last year, November. And we are 90% leased out. We have one vacancy there. And it's an interior unit. It's kind of like the hardest unit to rent. And it's still open, but we have a lot of interest on that. Just got to pull the trigger and get someone in there. But this one here is the martial arts. It's a London Fitness. And this place does aftercare as well as teaches the disciplines of martial arts. And they're packed. Again, we brought in what people want. But it's also open gym, so people can go in there and just get regular memberships and just do workouts, etc. Okay, so I had a couple quick things that I wanted to share with you that I wrote down, because I knew if I didn't write it down, I wouldn't say it. I would say a bunch of other stuff that I didn't plan on. So let me say what I wrote here. I'm going to put my glasses on. Because believe it or not, the older you get. So I want to say this. Build only what people lack and are asking for, and brings enrichment to the family and the community as a whole. That's a key thing that drives my wife and I with our decisions as to why we build what we build. We must build and create what will bring family together and help build what captures fun moments that will be remembered for years to follow. This is what my family and I love to do. We create the space where these memories can be made. If you have an opportunity to do something that is bigger than yourself, that will impact our community for the better, that is what I suggest you do. It is far more rewarding to serve others than to only seek to serve ourselves. Servant leader perspective. Many people teach on why being successful is important, but the focus of success is only on one person, ourselves. And so it's hard for people to get behind you when you're only focused on your own success. But when we focus on being significant, living a significant life rather than just a successful life, our focus is shifted to others and enriching their lives through service. And guys and ladies and gentlemen, we are, for the most part, in a service business, service or product, right? We provide services. Even the school here, they provide a service of education, right? And so we're paid to serve. Who here ever thought of it like that? We're paid to be good, faithful servants of the trade, the craft, the product, the skill, whatever it is that we're providing the community. This brings great value back to ourselves because it's a legacy thinking and it impacts people for generations to come. I do not want to be a successful person. I want to live a significant life that will impact my family, my children, my grandchildren, and it'll impact my community as a whole. And when we think as servant leaders, when we think this way, what you do and what you accomplish in life skyrockets. It'll blow your mind. It'll blow your mind what you accomplish when you put the focus on others. So guys, thank you so much for listening. Thank you for joining us today. We're going to open up for some questions. I hope you all have questions.